All right, folks, we're back. You're just in time for you to hear the beeps, the sweet, sweet beeps of the game starting. Let's hop into it. We're now moved over to Europe, so you'll see the player names look a little bit different because they do have different named accounts over here, but it's still Awers, a.k.a. Hades, versus RiSky, a.k.a. whatever his stupid NA name was that I don't remember.
I don't remember it either.
Oh, is he really
There's
on my
something cute.
insanity?
What?
Is he really on my insanity?
He might be, I guess. They do have like a... They have more players than I remember.
Yeah, I mean, they picked up a lot of people a while back. I just didn't realize he was on the team. But hey, more power to him, right? Spawning here in the top left. He'll need that team to send him to DreamHack if he can't win this game. It is going to be the purple Zerg player, RiSky. And my game sounds sound really off.
I don't know. In the bottom right, as the red Terran, it is ours.
They're definitely way lower. Why is that?
I didn't do it.
Well, I mean, how would you?
I don't know.
Are you hacker man? Did you hack into my...
That's the one thing I would hack, is the game sound.
Yeah, you don't like game sounds. It makes sense.
I like game sounds fine enough.
You don't like game sounds at an audible level that everybody can enjoy.
Well, I would if it meant that I could actually hear you.
Feels bad, man. One day, we'll just have to do a phone conference. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to that one focus group we did with the phone thing. And just, ugh.
Oh man, that was so bad. Oh
Actually,
man.
Yeah, to share a small story while this sets up, guys. Zombie and I were part of a focus group a while back, and they I don't know why they did it like this, but they first had everybody join in a conference call. So you're actually using your phone to call, not like your computer or like Skype or anything that would be useful, but you're calling in via phone. But then they also had you join in through webcam on your computer with no audio. So you're sitting there looking at like laggy, unsynced audio to really bad audio because it's a conference call. Ugh.
It was truly a dumb way to go. It just didn't make much sense. Oh well.
So also, we said we'd talk about this a little bit just while the game starts off. If you guys haven't seen, there's a really cool hype trailer out there for the StarCraft Remastered announcement. We actually got to see some cool behind-the-scenes stuff, but we didn't get to see those slick-ass skins that have been tweeted. So your buildings will get skinned, which I think is the first building... No, well, it's the first building skin since the initial like depot/pylon ones.
Right, and they're so much cooler.
They're like glowy and
They're
pretty.
really cool. Like the hive is like in flipping lava or something. I don't know, but why not us? Why not StarCraft 2? One day. One day soon, maybe we'll have a glowy lava thingy.
You know what would be cool? I would take those skins and put them in StarCraft 2. Like,
I mean, I would.
Take that exact same hive and put in StarCraft 2. I would buy that.
Yeah. Is the command center supposed to be infested? That actually can't tell. It's gold, but it has like a little bit of like some tendrils on it on the bottom.
The railing?
I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not looking at the tweet.
Oh. I was gonna say, it definitely doesn't look infested to me. It looks very shiny and like regal.
It just looks gold with I don't know. Okay, well I guess it's just supposed to be regal then. I mean the Nexus is clearly supposed to be shiny. We got like actual shines going on it.
But yeah, we got to test some of the new Brood War stuff that's coming out. We got to play with it. We got to see some of the functionality. I really think that there's this. This is perhaps the least important feature, but I love that you could, at a quick tap of a button, swap between HD and SD, so you can play the game as if you're like from, early 90s, or you could play it like you're from 2017. At the tap of a button, you can swap in between games too. They had a lot of cool stuff, and I was not initially at all hyped for the Brood War remastered, or excuse me, the StarCraft remastered launch. And I'm still admittedly not like the most on-board guy with it, but I definitely have a lot better feelings about it now than I did previous.
It stayed true to Brood War, and it is...
Including its faults.
Most importantly, it's going to be easy to play now. It's always been the barrier to entry, not of the skill level, but of literally having to download so many different like components. But we do have mech once again for ours. RiSky responding this time with a faster Roach Warren. So he did get upgrades last game, and he tried to use Banelings as well. Were they ever really the highlight of that game? No. it was like 40 minutes long, and Vipers were a much bigger deal. But he did make, the most of what he did, and well, now he's just gonna go right into those roaches. I mean, he might even go right into an attack. He sees that it's cyclones. He could try and get us around with the lings.
This is where it gets a little bit interesting, though, because he does have a really fast +1 following this up, and +1 cyclones destroy early game roaches. That's where, if you've got the Hellions to wash off the lings, this goes better for the Terran. But if it's just the cyclones trying to engage on their own, this actually favors the Zerg.
Yeah. RiSky is, like, even making overlords for that supply, so I do believe he's going to be trying to not max out, but get as many roaches as possible and actually attack.
That was really smart out of ours, by the way.
Yeah. Surrounded, cyclones will die. Up against a wall, they would take too many lings with them. Yeah, ours, he gets a little bit of scouting. All I saw were lings trying to push back a couple of cyclones, and RiSky might have thought that was going to be more than it was. He might have thought that was going to be the Hellion cyclone push that we usually see. That maybe is why he made so many roaches, because now he goes back in the drone, he starts his lair, starts the evolution chamber. But if he can overwhelm this army and then, counter, it could potentially delay ours third base. He's got lings going from the back. I like this move, whether it's to try and bring the army back or catch the cyclones. Got the Hellions. Looks like it's going to try and deny a third. It's not on location quite yet. Oh, the supply depot is down. So lings just get on in there. That's really nice.
I don't blame him for being distracted. He was trying to do a lot of fancy things over here. Grab the overlords, do what he can, but looks like this will be cleaned up with the Hellions. Doesn't get too out of hand, but 9 SCVs lost is still pretty nasty.
Yeah. Ours finds himself way down in supply, down 40 army supply. Even though he has that +1 for the cyclones, RiSky was just, even overly prepared for that push. Now going back into the macro game, and now he has a decent army that he could, as I said, maybe delay that third CC, depending on location.
Without tanks, the Ravagers here are actually be really good at helping stop the Cyclones part of this. But unfortunately, right now, RiSky's not getting really the opportunity to even move out with his massive roach army. He's using it to defend and deflect, and that gives ours time to get tanks. That gives ours time to get in a much better army position, because Cyclones en masse are not necessarily the best way to play, but they do trade well, and they do have a lot of damage packed into them.
RiSky gets to a 4th base and 66 drones. He would have, I guess he would have wanted to wait for roach speed anyway. So maybe once that's done, I'll start posturing around these bases a little more. Ours is finally getting those tanks, and he might just have enough for a good defense, but I don't know about pushing out. Trying to catch RiSky being a little bit too greedy on his way to Hive, perhaps, but RiSky is maxed out on roaches. This is a questionable move by our Terran. It is as +2 finishes up, and the roaches aren't already in position.
Some of them even cut off. That would normally make for a great back attack, but the numbers are too low.
Yeah. Now the army comes through here, but the tanks managed to get through the entire middle of Odyssey and on a ledge. Yeah, they're now much more effective than they're supposed to be.
This was double the army supply for RiSky coming into this.
Yeah, it still is, but this was much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the tanks were going to be caught in the middle of the map, completely useless, but RiSky was on his... He was on his 3rd base, I think. It took him a long time to respond.
Well, so the bigger question at hand now is, will there be an immediate follow-up push? RiSky actually defends barely, sure, but ours lost pretty much everything in this attack, and anything he wants to rebuild is slow building, tanks and cycles especially.
Yeah. It's a good point. It's not like he's already up to a 4th base, although he is building it right now, but, the good news is that RiSky didn't have too much of a bank. Now he does, I guess, but the larva might be a little bit low, so he's only doubling the army supply again.
Only.
But... going up against mech with +2. Like ours, this game's on his way to +3, a lot faster, more than I thought it was going to happen last game.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much more cost efficient that was for ours in every way, but cost efficiency be damned. If you don't have the army to stand up, then it's not going to matter. These Hellions will kill a lot of drones, and that actually pulls RiSky back?
I mean, he'd have to take so long to position his
Yo.
army and make sure that it went okay. Like,
Okay, RiSky tried to do something kind of cool there. Block out the Hellions with an Evolution Chamber block. That would have been really nice, but those 4 Hellions just bought Awers enough time to get a round of Thors out, a round of another tank out. Like, so much depends on those Hellions actually buying him the time that they just did. Will it be enough?
What? Again? I think it might be. The supply really isn't that big of a gap like it should be when you're maxing out on roaches.
Yeah, roaches, we always talk about the cost of inefficiency as far as their supply goes. Always very inflated, and supply means bigger numbers should be a little bit smaller in actual army.
Yeah, and this push I don't mind nearly as much, right? Like, it's a bit bigger of an army for ours, but more importantly, he knows that RiSky is remaking an army right now. Like, he knows it's an opportunity for him to get to that ledge once again and siege up his tanks. I think if he really dedicated entirely to this push instead of the attempted transition to Starport, he might be able to do some significant damage. Because RiSky was trying to get on his way to Swarm Host, but now he can't.
Nice use of the Corsair Biles. Takes out one of the tanks. Still several more where that came from. Plus 3 weapons finishes very soon, and those tanks are going to jump up to do a ton more damage than they already are. Double Starport's coming down behind this for a transition out, too, as he does have Liberators already being made.
RiSky trying to catch reinforcements, a very, very good move. It's always risky of a mech player, especially, to try and reinforce through a long map like this. I know. But even with the double-pronged attack, the tanks are still taking out large chunks of roaches. Large chunks of roaches.
Yeah, 85 a shot. These roaches get wrecked. A lot of transfuses, though, from a lot of queens get burned. But can these Hellions buy him time once more? Because
yeah.
they are going to be heading out. And I mean, for RiSky, by ignoring the Hellions, just saying, you know what, I'll take the drone losses, he gets in here and he causes some very serious damage.
Oh, but he's not ignoring them.
This is such a great move out of ours. I mean, it doesn't even have to get kills. The whole point of this is to bring the army back, and it does just that. However, there are swarm hosts on the way, and ours has been struggling, not through like macro or anything. It's just his unit composition doesn't trade well with what's been going on, and now he's going to be coming up against units that are free. It makes it even worse.
Still can't quite get over these upgrades. Ours are now at 3-1. These units definitely pack a punch. And defensively, they should always be in a good position, unlike when they're trying to move out on the map. And that's not going to be broken by roaches, but maybe with the help of those locusts. Well, I guess where, you know, last game, it took, I think, a lot longer to get to Banshees. So this time, ours is not going to deal with Vipers dealing with the Banshees, and they might just kill the Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, there's also no blue Flame Hellions left to deal with the locusts. That feels really bad, man.
The game might just be over.
Yeah.
The army supplies are still pretty, they're really not that bad. 68 to 49. I think Hellions came in, or Liberators came in, actually, to kill 12 drones. And reinforcements might just be able to clean this up. The Swarm Host retreat.
Oh, he's stuck on the ramp. The tank blocks him out.
Here comes a Banshee, so eventually she'll clean things up, but... looks like things just even out again. You know, ours still has 4 bases and 62 SCVs. RiSky only just remade drones up to 75. This ended up not being so bad, despite those locusts getting in there.
I was so much more worried for ours. Like, that looked borderline game-ending. The fact that he held on was really impressive. But also, you could note, like, RiSky could have gone for this base, which is covered by only a siege tank that would have friendly fired SCVs. Like, to push the natural is something he's been rather insistent on, and that is perhaps a mistake.
Well, you know, that 4th base is the planetary, so that's an obvious reason not to go there. But then maybe he thought there would be the defenses at the 3rd base. But as we know, ours has always been rallying to the natural, so I think you're absolutely correct, if only you had known.
Ours has actually just in general been doing a really good job responding to RiSky, I think, too. Even though he's the one making the moves, and it kind of looks like, well, how do you mean responding to him? The RiSky's had to be the one responding to ours. It's not quite the case. A lot of this has to do with being translated to where those siege tanks are, and if they're in position in time.
A Banshee count's getting, you know, kind of scary, too. So, you know, before the fight, I mentioned that the Vipers, the last game there was Vipers to eventually abduct them, so they really didn't get to snowball. And I guess maybe the Queens would be good enough here. But those Swarm Hosts would get targeted. There's nothing really to protect them once they're in the front lines away from that creep, other than their speed to run away. Ravagers also could be target fired. Finally, we have some Hydras. That was another thing, I guess, that he had along with the army for anti-air. In fact, that's what he did, right? The last game, he saw one Banshee and immediately transferred over into Hydras.
Well, definitely got distracted by the Banshees. Hellbats get in and cause quite a bit of a scare.
Surprised he transformed them, though. Those Hellions.
I thought he would have been better off with Hellions. Yeah, I agree.
Every time I see him transform the Hellbats, I think he's going to try and target fire the hatchery, and then he just chases drones anyways.
Yeah, it's like an otter chasing a butterfly through the field.
Well. So a lot of drones go down, so obviously very worthwhile. Ours is now comfortable on his 4 bases, no fear of being overwhelmed, at only 30 armor supply down.
Yeah,
and transitioning.
He started to go for Ravens, or rather the Raven upgrades pretty quickly, which I was a little bit hesitant to bring up because he just doesn't have the gas for it yet. He spent so much on Banshees, a lot on these tanks. SCVs are brought to the front line to tank/repair. This push is going to be scary. I don't know that RiSky can easily deal with this.
I don't know either. Only 6 Swarm Hosts is not that impressive, and no Vipers, even though the Hive is done. It's maxed out, he can't make them.
Also, I'm very wary to see these SCV kills because so many of them are going to be in the front lines, not necessarily like counterattacking.
Yeah.
But he's not just giving them away, he's trying to repair with them.
So there weren't any blinding clouds. Well, 6 Vipers are finally on the way, but the tanks are so clumped up that Corsair Bios looked scary for a second. Now it's starting to spread them a little more. Vikings still live and will be looking for those Vipers as they come forward.
RiSky throwing some comments too about how, you know, the other server is too laggy to properly use the Vipers. Maybe that's some post-game salt, or maybe we'll see like a lot better Viper usage this game, because it was so weird to see like 39 Vipers made, and at no point, except for one small instant in the game, was I like, oh, that was worthwhile.
Yeah.
But the Vikings land, something perhaps he wasn't anticipating.
Well, oh, that was nice. They almost baited the Locust there. Now it's going to kill the Vipers.
Oh, gosh. And, of course, the Banshees still don't have a real hard counter here, so the Hydras are filling in just a little bit too little at a time. I love the Widowmine addition to this, too. It's such a scrappy army out of Ours, but it doesn't look like it's going to be easily dealt with. Not until the next wave of Locust is up at least to even try.
Once again, RiSky with a decent army supply, but much of it's not able to really take out an army.
Oh, these tank shots have been beautiful. Dives in for a Corrosive Bile, though, so I mean he is trading up for some of the tanks, but just this base is it's gone.
Looks like it.
The Banshees are policing the reinforcements. Vikings floating northward, gonna snipe off the Vipers. That's nice.
This is.
Tries to land one to bait out the Locust, and ends up looking like it just falls behind the map, though.
It's pretty cool, micro move. Couple Thors, couple of Hellions, couple of tanks. Must be enough to deal with the Hydra army. I mean, rallying forward again, pretty dangerous to do for Mech.
I mean, he's been on +3 for so long, too, so a lot of these shots are so much more effective than normal. The Thors are hitting for 39 times 2 every time they fire. Oh,
I think ours is rallying a little bit too much. I mean, certainly you saw how much you were taking out the reinforcements, how much you were pressuring their bases, how many drones you killed in this game. He probably thought that would be slow burnouts, but RiSky had just barely enough.
Okay, so finally RiSky is going to be attacking the one open base, but it's like after it's pretty much mined out. No, never mind.
Hellions again distract him.
Bluefin Hellions have been doing an amazing job. Like, they are the actual MVPs of this game, I would say. Constantly distracting the army, bringing it out of position. I mean, he has done a really good job with these Hellions.
Well, he definitely needs this gold base. This is not like last game where he had extra, orbitals and command centers with planetaries ready to go. It's a scrappy game for ours.
That was a really awkward decision making out of RiSky there too. He just kind of moved in and gave away 4 or 5 units for no real reason.
And you want to note that the Vipers did all die. There's none left, and he can't really build anymore because he's not banking enough.
Banelings in this army.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of my response too. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess I can. Again, like when they crash into the Hellbats.
Oh,
but so many tanks weren't sieged up, not in the right position.
Yeah, I think he was trying to bait back to the planetary, and that would have been great if he had been able to pull it off. But ours is in a really tough spot. He's long distance mining. He drops all the mules at the gold. He needs that money now because he has almost no real units to fight with.
Yeah. And I mean, it's unfortunate to lose tanks, obviously, but I think it's also really unfortunate he lost all of his Hellions, because that's usually what's doing something while he's on the ropes. They're killing drones or bringing the army back, but only just now sending 2 Hellions out to do something to the 6th base, whatever you want to call it, for RiSky. As RiSky is finally stabilized again on these bases on 62 drones. The Hellions actually go to the 3rd base, which is completely mined out. Still get a couple, I suppose. Go for the gold, go for the gold.
It's one thing to get drones, which is always awesome. But at some points in the game, like, Larva's not too bad to pick off either, and Blue Flame Hellions will take that out quickly. So regardless, like, RiSky can't ignore these no matter what they're doing or where they're at.
Yeah. Once again, important. These Hellions are doing anything at all. Otherwise, ours is probably losing that gold base. It's not a planetary, and there wasn't anything to defend it, but the army just wasn't there. I think it's like a roach or something is killing a couple of SCVs on the backside. And we do have SCVs going down. Oh, okay, Swarmhost. Makes sense. But that's instantly 14 SCVs killed. He still has a lot of mules. It's not nearly as many as there was last game.
That's the difference of a planetary right there, too.
Yeah. Can he hold? RiSky is now 50, 60 army supply up.
If this was all Raven, I would actually say he's got a good chance, but it's really scrappy units. I mean, Cyclones at this point almost feel desperate, but necessary just because he needs something, anything. I actually almost wish we'd see more Widowmine use out of him. But the Banshees will have mobility. One of the downsides to Odysseys, it is a pretty freaking big map. So, while the army might be in the top right for RiSky, Banshees with speed could be in the bottom left killing hatcheries as we speak. Hypothetically.
Like no tanks. There we go now. The Locusts are all baited out onto not as important units.
Looks like one Hydra in this army. This Banshee could go to town. If it had anything.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is that ours is holding, and he's holding a gold base, even though it's not. It's mining out very quickly, and it's not even fully saturated. But he is allowed to mine from it, which I didn't think was going to be possible. Clearly, I think RiSky's just looking at those Ravens and it's like, I don't know. The ground army itself, even with all the Blue Flame Hellions, like it's only 1 tank, 2 tanks.
It's also he's been locked on Hive Tech for a while without additional upgrades.
Yeah, ours got up to 3-2. He's getting a bit of a sneaky base, RiSky, as far as being aggressive towards a base, he's only ever really gotten close to the natural. I guess he kind of got close to the gold base too, but the point is, ours is going to maybe get away with a hidden base. Nice drone kills.
Yeah, for somebody who doesn't have much money in the bank right now and just spent all of it on 18 drones, very nice kills.
I mean, this happened last game, didn't it? Like, ours was down 60 supply, he looked like he was on the ropes, and then suddenly he got like 2 more expansions and got himself back up to a max situation.
Well, a lot of this is going to have to do with the point defense drones here, hopefully. Coming down a little bit late. There we go. Now involved with the party, but most of the front line's already been beaten away. The tanks set up a little bit late. He's already in the dead zone for half the tanks. This isn't going to work out for ours, but he does take out a large portion of RiSky's army on the way out.
I'm really questioning why he was offensive, though. Like, why was he out in the middle of the map? Shouldn't he just continue to defend until he was maxed out?
Likely, yeah. Oh. Maybe we should make sure ours knows it's the qualifying match. not a random game here, but all right, game 3 starts up in just a moment. We're gonna go to another commercial break because these have been some long games, guys, so stick with us. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, consider going to the Match Arena page, entering the code DREAM, add $1 to the prize pool, and we'll see you guys in a bit.